we live at a time where for some, any criticism of any action by Israel immediately goes from a criticism to a demonization of Israel to an anti-Zionist position that says that a Jewish state has no right to exist. And while doing that, looks to the Jewish community in America and says, you Jews, here's this country that has no right to exist. It's a Jewish state. You're Jews. Therefore, you're responsible for everything Israel does. And as a result, a lot of the places where I spent a lot of time in my former life as a Democratic member of Congress in progressive spaces are places where the Jews are no longer welcome simply because they're Jewish, simply because they have a connection to Israel. And then layer on top of that, finally, the fact that it's not a far jump from Israel has no right to exist and people screaming calls to violence, which is what globalized the Intifada is, and I think we have to acknowledge that. It's not a far leap to get to what happened outside of our event. Same thing that we saw in Boulder when someone showed up at a march in support of the hostages and tried to set people on fire and killed one person while doing it. Anti-Semitism exists on both sides. We have to treat it seriously. Our community only asks that, like every other community in America, our perception of what's happening to us and what we face is not brushed aside, that our pain is acknowledged, and that we are not told that we don't have a right to feel the way we do. And after Sarah and Yaron were killed, it should be easier, sadly and tragically, for everyone to be able to do that. But unfortunately, it hasn't been the case.